Today has been a volatile day. The price actually started dropping from close to 43K all the way down to 40,600, depending on which exchange you trade in. But we already saw in some, we came as close to 40,000. So there has been a lot of liquidations. But what's more important is to look at this. There are financial institutions buying more and more and more Bitcoin. So this is Fidelity. Now you look at the BlackRock, it's 25,000. It feels like, these guys are actually competing with each other. Now you have the Coinbase, Grayscale, and others who have a lot more than that. But end of the day, I think Fidelity with their self-custody will actually come up to that area with a higher chunk. But if these guys are buying like crazy, they want someone else to sell like crazy. Just don't be that guy who just gives them the liquidity so that they can make profit, because you are well positioned in a market where you entered early and you were disciplined. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. When we are looking at these price action, it actually took some patience to see this playing out. First, we actually dropped this. This is a breakout. These are your targets. It's actually moving towards that. Fine. But then the price consolidated and went through the Wyckoff accumulation phase, and I updated you guys with this. After 2 months, we are now watching that the price action is starting to creep higher, slowly break through a lot of different resistance. So it is showing you that it is reaching through your target 1, going towards the target 2. If you are interested in these kind of thoughts, you can look at the SI family. The link for that is in the description below. Now, we'll jump on to the price action side of things. It is really interesting to know who wants to buy Bitcoin, because that determines what they're going to do with the price, right? If they want to buy something more and more, they don't want the price to go up too much. They would like the price to drop so they can buy it cheap. Now, this is something you and me in the market should keep in our mind. Bitcoin becomes second largest ETF just after gold, which was actually a huge thing. This just came out recently. And that's the amount of interest you're watching in the market. Then you actually go through what is happening on the regulatory side, on the codes, what's happening with the markets. This is something really which we all have to digest properly. Microsoft hits highest closing price in history. Then you're watching the Nasdaq is hitting all-time highs. Then you're watching Apple and Microsoft is battling to become the biggest. So what do you actually see there? Prices going up, prices going up, prices going up for few companies. They're not actually dropping like crazy. So where is the stock market's 60-70% drop, right? That's where the reverse market crash and that thought process we explained 3-4 months back comes into the picture. Now, when you look at the dollar, we're still here. We talked about this in the last couple of videos. We're still there. As you can see, the daily closes. You haven't actually had a decision of whether you're breaking through the roof or you're getting rejected. Now, a rejection here would be comfortable for those who are in crypto and the stock markets. Now, you jump on from there to the Bitcoin to see what we are doing. Yes, on a short-term horizon, this is what you see. This is what you're looking at. But when you do zoom a little bit out, you kind of get to see the trend, the pattern, the price, the structure, right? Everything comes into the picture. So you are looking at this and asking the question like, okay, this is something we had before, and we are now flirting with that level, which is an important criteria. Then your next setup is going to be the long-term trend of this asset in this cycle, which is going to be another important trend line to keep in your mind. Now, you actually go in to the same to see, okay, where do you get some supply-demand equation trying to balance itself? And that is where you actually see the daily close here is now acting as an important support. Yes, the price had wicked as low as 40,199 last time around, and this time you came close to that, but not exact. But you're still watching the prices pushing to the downside. The price is pushing to the downside. You're actually getting the retest and a rejection from the daily. Then you slowly move on to the weekly and you're like, okay, we have the rejection candle. Now we have a lot of volatility, decision time, whether we're going up, whether we're going down. That kind of a factor is still there, but you haven't yet broken this range of mother candle here, which kind of shows you the market is still looking to have that trap. We have seen all those all the way in history, so we don't have to go dig deeper into that. We have explained that in the last couple of videos. So here we are. We have to think about it. If you are someone who's interested in TA, you're looking at this and saying like, okay, we got one candle which got a big rejection to the downside. That was a big rejection, right? But just after that, you're watching another candle trying to go back up. It is attempting to move back higher. The price action actually went as high as 44,000, just close to that. And it got rejected. It's coming back down. Now, it's a weekly candle. We are not yet there for the weekly close. Let's see if this weekly closes above 40,000. If it does, that's a huge bonus point for the bulls. They are trying to keep the bears away from this. On the other side, the Bitcoin dominance. That comes into the picture. Which direction is the money moving? If the money is actually moving into Bitcoin throughout this trend, what we have noticed is the fact that when Bitcoin dominance bounces, we actually saw the fact that Bitcoin prices also go up. But yes, we are watching a trend reversal where you broke the trend. You're retesting and getting rejected, which is fine. But what we do want to see is this support region breaking. But will that directly come here, sit there and break? Chances are low. If it happens, it's a great thing. But usually, you may actually go back up to test this trend line and then get rejected. So that rejection would most likely look like this. And if that's coming into the picture, the next thing is your macro support. It's going to go reach your macro support zone. So for Bitcoin dominance, it will guide us about what the macro market is doing, which direction money is being moved inside the crypto market. Are they focusing more on the altcoins or are they focusing more on Bitcoin itself? Right now, this is the weekly erasing the last couple of weeks and getting a confirmation below the moving average. Here we wicked below that, but immediately we came back up. Here we had that close, we retested, got rejected. So now this is a key point to see whether we get another continuation candle to the downside or we go back up and then come back down, just like this. Because during that time, you will see altcoins performing much better. This is something we really want to do. So that's why you come here, look at the altcoin market, and you're like, okay, we're still here. We haven't actually changed anything. If you actually go back in time and just look at the moving average, it kind of gives you some idea of what it's doing. The double bottom structure has been clear there, right? It is a clear system, which we saw. Great. Now, you're looking at the current scenario and you're asking the question, what are we really watching? Do you see this? I mean, if you do, then the question becomes like, okay, then why should you go bearish? Because you already got the breakout here, which is an important one. You're trending to the upside on a weekly, which is a serious one. And then you're going on to the monthly, asking the question like, okay, we are trending lower, but the price is above this, just like last time. You kept the price below that for a certain period of time. Last time, if you actually measure the days, the total number of days below that trend line was somewhat close to 578 days. This time around, you're looking at that and saying like, okay, we came somewhat close and then we broke back higher. If your thought process here is like, okay, that's it, we're done, we're going to come back down, that gets a little very little support from the price history of this asset or the market psychology. There can be a lot of traps in the market for sure. The market will not give it easy on a plate to you. It won't happen. The market right now includes these giants. If you think about this so easily, if you as a retail guy enter the market and make money just like this, why would they exist? They exist because the normal guys cannot make money easily. Vast majority of the sum. People go to them, they take a cut for them. That's how they make money. So if that's true, then why would they allow you guys to make easy money? And that's where I kind of say education is the key part. If you understand what the market is doing and if you have the basic idea of what the market is doing, it kind of gives you an advantage. So while the market was heavily volatile earlier today, super volatile, the price was dropping, it was super crazy. And for us in the scientific investor family, I went through the entire market. We discussed about each and every asset, what I was doing, and especially when the market was dropping, I was buying into different assets, giving alerts of screenshots of which asset I'm buying, where my order is, and what the size of the order is. So you guys were watching that on the Telegram. Then I had to come here and show you why that decision was taken at my end. Why did I use more capital to get more exposure in different assets? Not all the different assets, but very few which I felt a little bit confident. And if you are in the SI family, in the respective tiers, you already got that. Now, if you find value from this channel, I would request smash that like button for me. That supports the channel and at least shows the YouTube algorithm that you're watching something which is giving you some value for the time you're spending here in the channel. Now, getting back to the matter, when you watch this, price is dropping in a lot of these assets, go look at them individually. Yeah, these are actually starting to run up. You go on a weekly, you see something crazy happening. And if you're already positioned in that, we are. So you will watch price action turning huge. And that's a big thing to observe in the market. You had this support level, you made this range of accumulation, you're breaking through. This is your first measured move. You plot it to the upside, then you have your wave structure moves. Everything is cool. So where is the money coming from? If we are going into a bear market, where the hell is the money coming from? You have to think about the timing of the market. See, this asset last time topped first wave here and the final wave here. And the final wave actually topped out in Feb, way earlier than most of the other assets. This time around, it's just getting started. It's slow. Agreed. But right now, do you think this is trending lower? Or do you think there is a new trend formation coming in? Because if you do understand the market structure, now you're like, okay, there is something literally serious opportunities, right, in the market. You have a breakout, retest, and a bounce. You have the Wyckoff structure. You're doing all of those. And it's not just one asset doing that right now, showing you as an opportunity zone. Whenever you enter here, what happens? In few months, you'll see what I'm talking about. We'll revisit these assets in 3 to 5 months. At that time, the regret of paying the taxman is much better than the regret of not entering into the right assets, not having the right assets in your portfolio, not having the proper exposure to the assets which can give you at least the average return. Maybe it's at 25x in the market, maybe it's 40x. But it depends on your risk tolerance and your exposure category. Are you in payments? Are you in smart contracts? Are you in AI? Like, these are different segments you have to watch. If a segment is showing you I'm breaking higher now, and you're looking at all their competitors and you're like, okay, money is flowing into that range, this gives you more certainty of where the money is moving from. We do it a little bit differently in our own portfolio. We can see that. So we do that. So we get to see how our portfolio educates us. But then you come back into the market to see, okay, we discussed about the possibility that the market is showing you something positive. Something positive. So do you think that positivity is still in the market? You had one low here, you're forming another low, but at the same time, the RSI is going lower. Okay, what does that mean? Right? This is something I usually say you guys should reflect into this. If you can, use a 3-day chart, a daily chart, a weekly chart, go through them. Learn what the market is showing you. Because whenever you see the fact that you have a lot, I'm highlighting this fact, a lot of sellers coming in, but the price is not going down. That means something. What? The sellers are weak or the bulls are heavily strong. They're going to gym, right? The bulls are strong. So you saw that here. From this low to this low, RSI was dropping like crazy, or there is a lot of strength coming in as sellers. But the price did not drop. Same here. You're actually pointing this structure here and this structure here. The price is still moving up. RSI is collapsing. Fine. Or you erase that and you go for something closer to where we are. This range. The price is still trending to the upside. This is where you are. Okay, that was not the right drawing, but this is where you are, right? And if you actually plot that, you're watching again the RSI dropping more. So buying strength is going down or selling strength is increasing, but in both ways, price is not making a new low. That actually is interesting because, yeah, there are different points raised in the market saying like, no, that we just had a fake out. But let me actually bring you guys to these two scenarios here and show you what actually happened during that time. You did get wicks to the upside. So your top at this point was 31,755. So it was $1,000 higher than the last one, right? And then you went down. So yes, you had a fake out there too. So if you had to put the argument like, okay, we have a fake out here before we dropped, we had that before too. So the price action in the recent history of one asset, I believe, gives you more information about this cycle. Great. Now, as an investor, you also want to know how does this asset behave in its market cycle. So you go back in history, you look through what they're showing you, and you understand, okay, there is some similarity in this asset and its previous cycles, especially a couple of them. Right? So you kind of get that idea here close and you're like, okay, there is a trend line forming here. When that's going to be broken, I don't know. But as of now, when you do look at this, you kind of have a trend line formation here. And once you get those trend lines in the macro direction, you also get to see like the short-term trend lines. They get broken within the cycle for sure, but you kind of see where the price action is going, right? Within those, you get to see accelerated momentum or trend which actually forms, and that also breaks after one run up. So here in this cycle you saw that at this point breaking, coming back down and starting to bounce. So do you see a 3 consolidative movement inside this? Here you had the 1, the 2, the 3. Here you had the 1, the 2. So where is the 3? So that is the possibility. I'm saying like, okay, keep this in mind. When the price action does make, if it actually does a negative divergence here, at that point, you're talking about a higher price point, maybe 60,000, maybe 90,000, maybe 100,000. I don't know. Maybe just barely about this, 55,000, right? But you get the point. The price and the RSI will guide the way ahead. Now, you come on to the macro Bitcoin chart on a monthly and you're like, okay, yeah, we only have like, 12 days. And what are we doing? Are we going to close the candle like this? That wouldn't look great for Bitcoin side. Right? You're looking at the dominance and saying, okay, money is starting to move into altcoins. So you go on to different altcoins. You want to see what they are showing you. For XRP precisely, people say like, okay, why don't you talk about XRP? And I'm like, well, that's what we are doing. If you go into the channel and look at the videos, at least 8 out of 10 videos go specifically detailed into XRP and then giving you guys the crypto market analysis in general so you understand where the ideas are coming from, right? So here we're still at that point where nothing has changed. Remember, at one point we were close to 0.5. Right now we are at 0.55. So we're still in that range. Nothing has changed. Yeah, it demands a lot more patience than we expected, 100%. I was thinking like more like mid to late Jan, this asset would actually break. It leaves a micro pattern here. But here we are, still inside the pattern, right? But at the same time, we are watching other group of assets getting that liquidity and taking it slowly from this. So it's again DeFi platforms themselves for sure. So you're watching some of the competitors doing that right now. If you are in the market and you're trying to grasp something, I would say learn. This is that right time. When you get these 20-30% drop, that's where you buy into these assets. Remember, in this cycle, wherever you have seen the price dropping, the drop has been like this. 21% here. Perfect, right? Another 20% here. Great. Next one, 20.1. Like, that's a lot of coincidence. Then you're coming up here, and if you actually put that 20, where are we coming? We're coming somewhat almost close to 39K. Now, where the hell did we actually come close to? We came close to 40. We are kind of close to that bottom. Now, why is that, right? Because we already have a region here which has previously acted as a resistance, then as a support. So this is an area which actually generates a lot of interest. By that 20%, you have a support zone. If you do bounce off from there, there's going to be a lot of people who are surprised because they're talking about $10,000, $3,000, $1,000 per Bitcoin. So if this is to reverse back up and do a blow, that is going to create a lot of liquidations, surprises in the market, right? Great. So guys, if you actually receive value, smash that like button. And if you are looking for these kind of updates, look for the link. It's given in the description below. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.